What's up, YouTube? We are back out here on the water, guys. I had a request on a lipless video. I know I have a few of those, but of course you see I got my Wheeler custom lures. Hey, this is the new one, guys. I mean, he gave me this the same time he gave me the other one, but I have not used this yet. This is the first time. It looks similar, but if you can look at the colors on it, nice little lure, good for this water. But I've been told that you guys needed a breakdown on like the lipless. Okay, my simple breakdown for this lipless, especially in this cold weather, guys, is just this right here. I'm gonna cast this lipless. First, I'm gonna try to find the deep pockets as I can in the wintertime. And I'm gonna crank that thing in until I meet the bottom. It's like right here. I feel nothing right now, little grass. I'm just gonna pop it. I wanna pop it right up out of that grass and try to get a reaction strike. I'm gonna keep it cranking. I'm just gonna pop it right out of there. See what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's not a whole lot to it, but it gets you bit. And another thing I'm gonna do when I'm fishing the lipless that you should do also first, when we first pulled up, all them birds, like you see all these birds out here, predatory birds right there, they were all feeding on the bank. See what I'm saying? They were all over here feeding off the bank. So the first place I want to start is where they're feeding at, because that's where your bait fish is going to be first of all. And the lipless, the whole purpose is to imitate a bait fish or a minnow or a bluegill, whatever you want to call it. But that's the first thing I'm going to do when I step up to any pond or any lake. We got a little grass there. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal to hit a little grass. But we're going to target them areas where we're seeing them birds at, because we had a couple of gulls out there mixed in with them ducks as well. And gulls are definitely known for eating small bait fish. So we're just gonna work it. Currently it's like 20 something degrees, guys. It's cold. So we're gonna see if we can get bit. But I want you guys to understand, like, your reel setup, your riding reel setup, my personal riding reel setup, as you can see, I had the 7.4 N3 Denali series, N3 series. Got my Shimano Scorpion MGL. But see, if you can look at it, this is a 7.4. I usually go 7.4, or I'll go 7.3. I don't really go 8.1 because it's a little too fast when I'm fishing in the winter. But I will go 7, maybe 7.1, 7.3, something like that at the most. Just kind of keep it off the bottom sometimes, because that grass sometimes it's hard to pull that lipless up out of there. So you want that speed. And I also want that, you know, if I got 18-pound drag, I want that strength too to get them fish up out of there. But guys, that's definitely what I use as a setup. And I started using fluoro as of late, only because the bigger bass have been biting. But generally in the wintertime, I use 12-pound test. I'm usually a Suffix guy. I mean, I use clear sometimes, but I also use the Lovis Green. But I definitely try to keep that 12-pound test on, because in the wintertime, you definitely want that line that ain't so thick. I mean, as you guys can see in some of my videos, the line looks really thick. I'm using 14 or 15-pound test. But guys, we had some big fish biting, so we had to make sure we're equipped for that. Yeah, we definitely go out here in the middle. Let's see what we got. Ain't got much daylight, but I thought I'd come out here and do a video for you guys, because I got a request the other day just telling me, you know, you guys kind of want to know how to work this lipless. And as you can see, it's simple. It's simple, guys. Like, it looks hard, but it's not. I mean, you can see it's just all in the wrist when it comes down to bringing it up and letting it fall. And I keep it going. A lot of people say, oh, it's cold, slow it down. I'll tell you right now, guys, I get more bites keeping that sucker moving, because as you can see, it's a bigger lipless. Like when you're using a 1/2 ounce lipless, something like that, you know, you want to make sure you're bringing that sucker in pretty quick, because it's going to go slow anyway. It's a heavy lure. So we're going to go ahead and try to keep that rolling. Oh, this water feels dead right here. See, the birds have moved out. Whew. Okay. Let's give it a little very little daylight, guys. So we're gonna move on to this other body of water over here. You know, try to find them. Same thing, guys. It's a little more grass over here. So what I usually do is I hold that rod up to about a 10 o'clock position. Kind of roll it. Just kind of roll it in. Raise it just slightly. This is a little more shallow over here, so just kind of barely raise it right above that bottom. I'm gonna keep that bait in the strike zone for one. And with the rattles in there, when you pump it every once in a while, I get some rattles shaking. A lot of times you get a bite just off that alone. So you want to make sure you trigger them rattles. Try to get them rattles going. Okay, right off that hump. Whew. Ooh, that's the bottom. Ooh. Man, that wind's cut. There he is. Oh, I missed him. Oh, I missed him. That wind was cutting. I couldn't believe that. Really, guys, with this rod setup I got, I really don't have to set the hook. A lot of times you don't have to set the hook when you got a soft tip like that. You can just lean into the fish, but that surprise bite kind of threw me off guard. But a lot of times you want to feel for that. As you can see, like when I'm really focused in, I'm looking at that, looking at my bait, kind of glance up at my rod tip a little bit. There he is. Oh, he came off again? Oh, that might be bottom. Hold on, guys. Yeah, that might be bottom. Yeah, because that didn't feel like no fight. It just was pressure. Another thing I like to do with the lipless, I find where the flat meets that little drop off, I'll just drop that sucker in there. There he is. Right there. There he is. Drop it right in his mouth. That's where they're hanging out at. Okay. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Right in the mouth. He wanted that. All right. Ooh, do we need to commit it? Oh yeah, we need to get. Oh yeah. He's hooked good. Let me see my pliers. Yeah, this guy's hooked good, guys. All right, guys, we just got one. And okay, if you get one right there, especially off the lipless, I mean, it's just like anything else. You get one over there, it's probably more fish. Because like I said, right up that flat, where that flat goes into a drop off, I'm gonna catch that again. Look at that same spot. Like I said, I'm bringing it right through here. There he is. Well, I tell you guys, like clockwork. Like clockwork, it's usually more than one there. Every time. Every time. Oh man. Not a huge one, but let's get it. Hey, another little healthy chunk. Another little healthy chunk, guys. Like I said, there's not a lot of, you're not gonna get a lot of bites in the winter unless you can locate these bass. We'll go ahead and get a pic of that. Okay guys, we're not gonna get a lot of bass, but you're gonna get key bites that you need or that you want. You're not gonna get skunked. My goal is to give you guys tips with this lipless where you don't get skunked. I mean, cause it's cold. Guys, it was colder than it was the day before. And we're out here dealing with this, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get you guys a few more tips, because I know I ain't did a tips video. Like, I break down a few tips, but I need to break them down more thorough for you guys. So that way you can go out here and apply this to your game on the water, and hopefully nab something big. But I'm gonna get back into it. Matter of fact, let's get back into it. Let's scratch all that. Let's get back into it. Like what I'm saying about the flat. Okay, like last time we were here, there's a drop off right here at this point. This little point that I was casting at last time, but further up, it comes back up. It's flatter. It's a little flat right there. Now that flat kind of transitions into a slow drop, and it bows up a little bit and then drops again. As you can see, it's like little shells right there, but it's not just perfect form shells. It's like little humps. So basically what I'm doing is right here, I'm casting right there into the humps. I'm not going to the shelf and dropping off. I'm dropping right into the humps, and the fish are living right there. Got some grass, but the fish are right there in that. They're right there in that drop, that little drop right there, and busting. You can see it's cold. The air temps is crazy out here. I mean, we're in our 20s right now, guys. There's no ice on the water because we had a few days where it was warmer last week. So I'm assuming the water is probably low 40s. But I'm just assuming that due to the activity of the fish. I hadn't got to gauge it or any way to really check it right now. But yeah, I'm dropping right off in there. Like I said, if there's one, there's more than one in there. You get one, you're usually gonna get 2 or 3 good ones out of there. Especially with a lipless. I mean, I'm throwing something they ain't seen before, so I mean, that's another key too. You don't have to throw the same lipless as somebody that you know that's been catching them. I mean, you can go and get a lipless that the fish hadn't seen in your body of water. And that's what I tend to do. Like, you guys see these liplesses like this, you might overlook them, but you can't live past, like, the fish probably hadn't seen that, especially with the eyes like that. I've never had a lipless with eyes like that, guys. And I'm sure the fish hadn't seen that either, but they're eating it. Because this pond, I mean, this place is highly pressured, guys. But you can get bit if you just know what you're doing and you throw something that they ain't seen before. Like I said before in the other video, you can come out here and fish the same stuff you fished last year and get skunked. All right, let's throw out here. See, I was throwing right off in there. All right, guys, back in that drop, we moved over here where we can directly hit right off in the little humps that I was talking about. Kind of work our way over here. See if we can get a couple more bites over here. But I want you guys to actually pay attention to one thing, and that's rod position. All right, now I'm a little more shallow over here, so I might have to raise that rod to 11 o'clock. Not quite 12, but 11 o'clock. See what I'm saying? I got him. He's not big. Ah, it's grass. Okay, I know it felt funny. Okay. Before it hit that grass, it felt funny. I felt like I had to hit it. But yeah, see, I'm definitely gonna work that lipless, my rod a little higher. That's where it comes in. You want to have that softer tip. Cause with that rod high, and he's pulling down on it, and you already got that rod in a position like you're setting a hook. All you have to do is lean into him. 90% of the time when you're setting that hook, he might have hit the front of it and just got that hook pent between his lip and his bottom lip and his belly. And you might not have that hook in him. It just feels like that. But you want to definitely keep that rod right. Just try to lean into him. I don't want to really just set that hook. When I got the right rod, I don't really have to set that hook really hard. I just had to apply pressure and keep pressure on him. right in this little gap right here. Oh man, it is cold, cold. Oh man, Mr. Muskrat, you almost got hooked. Okay, we got 2 fish so far, guys. See if we can land another one. It's like we have to drop it right in the mouth. There we go. Oh, it's grass. There we go. Look right out of that grass. There we go. Get that grass out there. Yeah. Pull the grass off. Grass, a little grass right there. Like I said, guys, the grass is not bad. It gets all over your hooks and it's a pain to have to keep cleaning it off, but it definitely ain't a bad thing because a lot of them bass will hold over here in this grass. A lot of people associate that, you know, grass with the summer, spring months, stuff like that, but they hold on that grass in the winter too. Like I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna throw right here at this hump. This hump over here has a lot of grass. I mean, that drop off, my fault, guys. That drop off holds a lot of grass. And a lot of times you can catch bass up out of there. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, we definitely gotta warm these hands up. Okay guys, well, I'm warming my hands up. Trying to get ready for this next fish, if there's a next fish, guys. I just want to break down another thing to you guys. Ripping that grass in the summer is effective. It's just as effective in the wintertime as it is in the summer. I mean, y'all hear me repeat that over and over again because I really want you to understand that concept. You guys are shy away from that grass and start looking for deep water structures and things of that nature. Most of the bass this year, if you go look and see, most of the bass, especially big bass this year, were caught in less than 20 foot of water. Okay, less than 20 foot of water. Now you think about that. Why is that? You're not gonna find a whole lot of grass majority of the time in deeper water. Because if you look at most shallow ponds, shallow lakes, they carry a lot of grass. Why? Because they're not that deep. So there's a lot of sunlight that penetrate that water, and it helps what? It helps that grass to grow. That grass spreads out, and you get stuff like this that stays throughout the winter, all year long. Okay, so with that saying, a lot of bass, they'll stay in that grass. And then if you have leaves, like leaves are a good insulator in anything. They warm up things just like straw or anything else. But when they settle to the bottom, they also are a place that they can go and stay on the bottom where that mud and them leaves are and stay warm. So ripping your lures through the leaves or the grass that's on the bottom is an effective way to get bit, especially when they're real lethargic, don't want nothing to eat, they're just kind of laying there. You want to kind of trigger that fish to hit. You want him to look at that lure and smash it. Now, as you can see, this flat, this is the next part we're about to get into. We had wind earlier to kind of disguise that lure a little bit. So you got it flat now. Now this is stained. I say stained to clear water because out in the middle is pretty stained, but towards here it starts to clean up because it's starting to filter out from all the rain we had. So what I'm gonna do is on this stained water like this, I'm gonna drop that Lipless right back on that edge, and I'm just gonna move it. I mean, I'm just gonna violently move it because they can see pretty well now that that wind's gone. But I want something a little erratic, kind of get them going. Now, not crazy rips, just kind of just a little tug. Kind of like you getting that grass off, trying to get that strike. Now, as I get closer, slower. A little softer pulls. All right. Back to the big body of water, guys. Went back over here, kind of let these ducks and these other birds kind of get out of the way, see if these bass will come back over, because the water was disturbed a little bit. So we thought we'd come back over here right before dark, get a few casts in, see if we can get something to bite over here. Okay, now we're working with the nighttime situation. So what I'm gonna do is on that, mainly in the fall and summer months, you will see a lot of bass will come up to the shallows and feed. Well, I've learned, at least this year, I've been learning that a lot of bass, even when it's cold, are starting to come and start feeding, especially if we had some sunlight earlier. They started coming towards the shallows and eating. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to see if we can hook one. Same method, guys, same method. Ripping grass, bumping the bottom a little bit, and just kind of swimming it. Same method, guys. Want to see? Oh, that was grass. Definitely grass. I can feel it hanging on my hooks. See if we can get bit. There's a few casts in before we get out of here. Like I said, guys, that lipless, it's a good way to catch some bass all year round. It's a versatile bait. You can use it. I ain't saying the way I'm doing it's not the only way you can use it. I'm sure there's it's probably 1,000 people that argue you can use it this way, that way. Sure, you can use it all them ways, but you want to use it. You want to use it matched up or paired up with the conditions you have. You don't want to just take certain techniques that don't apply to the season or the feeding zones that the fish are in, because you don't want to run that thing across the top if the fish are in 14 foot of water and they're not active. So you want to pay close attention to the waters you're fishing and how you catch them. Each bite tells you something, guys. Remember that. Each bite on that lipless should tell you something. If you're bringing it up and they hit it on the fall, then that's what you want to continue doing, especially in these winter months. But if you're burning it, like you say, for instance, you say, you know what, I don't feel like yo-yoing it, I'm just gonna pull it to the side. Probably not a good idea to pull it to the side, because you lose a lot more fish than you catch like that. It'll trigger bites, but it's not the same as bringing it up. You want that thing to go straight up and down, guys. Let's see, I want that bait to be straight up and down like this. For one, it gives you a better chance to hook up. Two, the bait looks more natural. Oh, we got some grass. There we go, I'm out of that grass. Man. Oh, this big body of water is tough today. Go a little more into the grass. See if we can get something out of there. Man, it's definitely cold. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It looks like the bite is slowed way down, so what we're gonna do is, it's getting late. Time to go home, get some dinner, get cleaned up, warmed up. But I want you guys to think about all the key points. We'll go over them real quick. For one, look for the drop-offs, especially when you're fishing the flat. Look for the drop-offs in the wintertime with the lipless. Summertime, that can be another key thing, because they also go deep in the summer. Springtime, you want to work the flats, and you want to kind of burn that lure a little faster sometimes. The reason why I say you want to burn it without the yo-yo motion, you want that fish to eat, because a lot of fish, pre-spawn especially, they're going to be aggressive, feeding up, and they're going to start moving towards the spawning area. So you want to hit them flats like that fast as possible and get them feeding females before they start going into laying egg mode, you know. Because when they start spawning, you know, it gets rough. It gets rough to catch them. And another thing you want to do is, in the fall, guys, you want to look for, like I said, the subtle changes into the bank. You want to look for that. You want to look for that, and you want to definitely, if you're on the boat and you want to cover some deep water, try covering 12 to 14 foot. I wouldn't go past that because I don't see many big fish coming out here. I'll be honest, I haven't seen many big fish just caught that deep. So 12 to 14 foot, and you want to let that bait sink. And if you got if you got Panoptics or whatever, where you can see your bait going down, or you can just kind of count down to the bottom. As soon as it hit that bottom, you want to rip that sucker up. Same way you do in shallow water. You want to rip that bad boy up, but you want to also let it kind of lay back down. You want it to flutter back down. You take a rip, let it flutter back down to the bottom. So with that said, guys, I hope you guys got something out of this one. I know it's kind of a short video because we didn't have much time, but I just thought when I get a request, guys, I'm always going to try to get on it. I'm trying to help you guys. So I'm definitely, if you guys requesting something y'all want to see, let me know. I mean, you can put it in the comments, you can put it on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you need, guys, hit me up and let me know what's going on, and I'll get that video out there for you. This is TBP, freezing to death, and I'm out. Be easy.